In this video, I'm going to create this bearing cap here. Create the model. Now, I'm sure we've talked about this and you've noticed the different colors in the lines. So now notice how these lines are blue, and they're blue because they're not fully constrained. So when they're not constrained, it means they're not totally controlled. Now they do have some dimensions on here. But one thing the software likes to know is where are these lines compared to or in relation to the origin. So an easy way to fully constrain is just dimension it back to the origin. So what I usually do is, if it's a symmetrical part, I'll dimension it to the center line. In this case, this seems silly to put two dimensions that are the same, but now notice how all the lines are black because now it's fully constrained. Now, constraint could also be horizontal, vertical, perpendicularity, tangent control, and those are up here. If you need to add other constraints, you can say add relations, click on an entity, and it'll give you some options. For example, I want to make sure that line is vertical or horizontal. Now, if it's already got that on there, it'll give you some kind of an error typically. But see, notice what I did is constrain it to here because I'm going to put this half circle cut out. Now, someone asked me about using arcs. I rarely use arcs. I draw with circles and then just trim them. It's so much easier to do, quicker. Now, notice how that is showing up as blue. Let's see if we can figure out why. See, it says it's already has that dimension on there. So if you have that situation, what you can do is go up here and say fully define the sketch. Just check it. Now it'll give you this kind of ugly mess. Says there's a problem. So that's why I usually don't do that. So in this case, what's missing is that radius. And now you'll see everything is black. So again, you can use that tool to try to help you figure it out. Usually you can figure out, remember that a part doesn't have to be fully constrained to work, but it's a good idea because it helps you know if you're missing some sort of dimension or something. So let's just go with that. And we'll want to extrude that. And this is 1.5. And I typically go my mid plane, but in this part, on this part, it doesn't really matter. All right, so there's a basic geometry. Now we have these two holes, they're countersink holes. You'll know if you look at the note and look at the shape here. Now it's similar to a counterbore, except with a countersink, it's got that angled head. So think about a flat head screw, like something you might see as a wood screw. So there's the call out for that. There's a couple ways you can go about that. You can use the hole wizard, obviously. We need to find that countersink. Now remember, it's not the same as a counterbore. And this is an ANSI in this case. If it's not, just change it to metric. Flathead screw, it is going to be a 3/8. Oops. You can choose your size. Normal and in condition. This hole here has to go all the way through. The idea here is that socket, the flathead screw will go all the way through and then bolt into something. Okay, so now what we have to do is go to position. We have all our settings where we need it to be. Go to position, and it says select the face. So click on the object, click on the face. Now for now, just click on it, and then we'll locate it in a minute. And there's two of those, so I'll click on that. And now come up to Smart Dimension and add your dimensions that you need to put those countersinks in the right spot. And remember, these are just sketch dimensions. And you should have everything done. Let's click on that and see. So that's how you do a countersink, right? Simple enough. Now remember, the holes have to go all the way through. The whole idea here is you'd put that fastener through and then bolt this to something else. So let's put that on a drawing sheet. Just go big here. And now if it doesn't show up, remember you can go to this right here where it says browse and you can find that part and choose your views. Now think about this because I want to show those countersinks. So in my front view, try to arrange the front view so that's going to give you a top view. So I think I would choose this as my front top. I'll see the countersinks right side and ortho view. I'm going to want to turn my hidden lines on. And what else? I need center lines. There we go. And a center mark for that guy. The big thing really I wanted to show you is, let's see, I can hide that. Got carried away there. We should hide that one. Is how to do the call out for a countersink. So we can try dimensioning it normally, and you're just going to get the hole, and that's fine, because then I'll just take and customize that to however I want it to look. So let's double click on that thing. Now the way that, first of all, there's two of those. So I'm going to do a 2x space, diameter 0.76. Now that's that big hole. That's not the right diameter. So I'm going to cover that up. I'm going to put the diameter symbol. Oh, I got a diameter symbol. 0.40. Go to the next line, and I'm going to do countersink, diameter 0.76, space X, and then 82 degrees. And that's the call out you'll see on that handout. That's the way the call out was too, right? So that's a countersink. One dimension, don't put two dimensions on there, and you always dimension it like this with the smaller diameter on top, and the assumption is that goes through. Now, if it has a through on there, it's okay, but remember, we're trying to minimize the words on a drawing. It makes it a much more international drawing without words. So if it says through, I would typically delete that. Countersink symbol, the big diameter, and that angle, and that's the standard angle for a countersink. So if you buy a fastener, it's going to have a matching angle on that. Let's see, I would turn off those hiddens and put the rest of the dimensions on there, which I know that you can do that. There's nothing on here that's earth-shattering. I really wanted to show you how to do the countersink and then how to present it on a drawing.